everybody. How are you doing? So, welcome to another episode of our Power View live video series. And I am, of course, as usual, very excited to talk about today's topic with you. Because today, we are going to be talking about the power of flexibility and being able to roll with the punches. And I think this is a super important thing to be aware of because a lot of the time we do have a tendency to hold ourselves back from even starting things sometimes because we're afraid of what might come up along the way. We're afraid of what challenges might be too much for us to handle or what unpredictable things could occur. And sometimes, we'll even be going along with something that we're already working towards, and we'll kind of stop ourselves from going to the next level in it because of that same fear. And other times we'll even just get really overwhelmed by whatever's going on around us. And so I wanted to share kind of the importance of being able to roll with the punches and a couple little tips just to make it easier along the way. So, one of the things that is tricky to find a balance between sometimes is timing being right and just going for it. Because we definitely have a tendency to try and wait for just the right timing for things. But then on the opposite end, sometimes we go for it without thinking it through. So it's important to be aware of, the challenges that are likely to come up and just remind yourself of the ways that you can handle those beforehand, and you'll be a lot more likely to find an answer in that moment of what it is that you could do in that situation. So sometimes I like the example of people who say, oh, well, I could never do this because what would I do with that if that happened? Or what would I do if this happened? And I'll sit there and I'll be like, well, what would you do? And they actually sit and think about it. Or I'll say, what's the worst that could happen? Actually tell me, what is the very worst thing that could happen if you go for this? And they'll tell me, and I'm like, okay, well, how would you handle that? And then they'll tell me, and I'm like, well, there you go. You got no reason to worry. So that's a really fun, simple little exercise. And, I think it's so huge. We really do kind of stop ourselves without realizing what we're able to overcome a lot of the time. And another huge thing is just that, we'll get a tendency to kind of put things off because we don't feel like the circumstances are right. And we'll keep putting things off and off and off, waiting for, having more time or more energy or, once this thing is over, then I'll be able to commit to it. And sometimes those are valid reasons, depending on the situation. But often they're not. Often we don't want to put the extra hour or two of effort into our day, maybe, not even every day, to make something really incredible happen for ourselves. And, we all are given the same 24 hours every day. And if you can prioritize and schedule things in that are important to you, you're going to make a huge, huge impact in whatever it is that you're looking to create. And that's a whole nother topic, but basically, you're really in good company if you feel like that, if you feel like the circumstances aren't perfect and they're never going to be perfect, because they're not. They're just really not. No person in the history of the world, at least that I know of, has ever had completely perfect circumstances, but they're still out there. All of the successful people in the world are out there every day working towards what they believe in, working towards what's important to them, and working on who they want to be in the world even though their circumstances are not perfect, even though they have challenges. And it's because they make a point of trying to bounce back and be prepared in different situations that they aren't expecting to have. You know, your path is always going to have a twist or a turn or an unexpected setback or something along those lines, and you've just got to embrace that that's a part of the process. And there was something that a friend said to me years ago that I thought was just fantastic, because I was talking about, you know, my concern with feeling like I looked professional enough and things like that, which I still struggle with that sometimes, but hi. And I feel like everybody does. We all have this tendency to feel like being professional and worthy and all these things are just real when they're not. You know, everybody has something important to share. And if you have something important to share, you are worthy of sharing it. Simple as that. And anyway, what my friend said to me years back was that their definition of being professional and appearing professional is looking calm when everything around you is falling apart. And I thought that that was just beautiful because it is such a shining example of what it means to be truly committed to something and to be able to embrace the fact that, yes, there will always be a challenge. There will always be something new that you're going to have to figure out along the way. And it's going to make you a better person in that process. Every challenge, every new, mysterious thing that pops up and kind of freaks us out a little bit, that is our opportunity to grow, to become more versatile, to learn new things. And the more that we embrace it, the more comfortable we'll get with being adaptable and rolling with the punches, so to speak. So, yeah, I think that that is just a fantastic perspective. And, you really do just get better at being able to calmly handle things in the moment, or at least look calm while you're working on, taking a couple of deep breaths. Maybe take a couple minutes, go outside, take a deep breath and say, okay, here's a situation that I have no experience with. I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know what's going on. Take a deep breath. Feel what you feel about it. And then just let that breath go. And ask yourself, what is a possible solution? And from that moment forward, keep focused on the possible solutions and just make that the focus. Because the more that you dwell on the problem, the more that you're going to feel stuck. The more that you focus on the solution, the more you're going to train your mind to be in solution mode on a more regular basis. So that's kind of my other tip for you on that. Just really focus on creating solutions and try your best to let go of that stuck feeling, because you're never trapped. There's never a lack of an answer. There's always going to be a way out, and your attitude towards it is everything. There's that classic quote that whether you, and I don't know who originally said it, but I'll look it up. But whether you believe that you can or you believe that you can't, you're right. It's true, because if you believe that there's a way, you are not going to stop until you find one. Let that sink in. That it's really amazing to be able to develop that flexibility in yourself, because it'll allow you to do so much more when you realize in the moment that you can relax just enough to come up with a solution, and you can make it happen. You can absolutely solve the problems that come up as they go. And so I'm just going to look here and see. I know I had a couple other little notes that I wanted to share with you. But yeah, basically, when you have something that's important to you, that you want to do in the world, or that you want to share with the world, you have to have the courage to start, and you have to have the flexibility to embrace that things always aren't going to go as you planned, while remembering that you always have the power to guide them back into the direction of your choosing again. And, you are so needed in the world. Each one of us has something that is completely unique to us to share. And if you're not putting that out there, we're all missing out. If you're not putting yourself out there, somebody who really needed that isn't going to have it, whatever it is. And I know that you know that. I know that you wouldn't tune into this kind of thing if you didn't feel like you had something important to give and really cared about wanting to get it out there. So, just don't ever let that feeling stop you. Don't ever feel like you're stuck or like you don't have the right timing or you don't have this or that or like you're not good enough, because you absolutely are, and you can 100% do what it is that's important to you. And just remember that whatever comes along, you have the power of flexibility. You have the power to roll with the punches, and you have the power to adapt to whatever the situation requires of you, and to ask for more help if it's something that you need a little help with. It's totally okay. And so that is my message for you today, and I hope that you go out there and you think about that and you notice little ways that you can solve some problems you didn't realize were within your reach to solve, and just embrace it. Embrace that you can start whatever it is that's important to you. You don't have to be scared. And even if you are, just let that fuel you. Let that become an energizer, that feeling inside of you that's shaking you up. Let it shake you into action and just go for it. All right, so thank you again, and don't forget to follow me here at Aquarian Goddess so that you can tune in for tomorrow's live video. And my name is Jennifer, and I hope that you have an amazing and inspired day.